of the most important and necessary tools you need for cross-cultural communications is, drumroll please, connections. You can call it trust or rapport, or maybe there's another name, but it's like a magic string that you gain that ties you to someone else. And this string can only be created through trust. It benefits both parties. It can be a personal relationship or a business relationship. Being blood related doesn't really guarantee you a connection or trust. You can have a trusted connection from your friend, your doctor, even a complete stranger. It's difficult to define or measure these connections because it's kind of like a feeling. You know it when you have it, and you know it when you don't have it. In order to have successful cross cultural communication, you need to make connections, rapport, trust, whatever you want to call it. You need to build that feeling. But why do we trust some people and not others? Why is it easy for some to make these connections and not so easy for others? Why is it that sometimes we can try so hard to connect with someone but never get it? Again, it's a feeling. You can't force someone to connect with you just as you can't force someone to love you. A true connection requires both people to establish trust with each other. It's difficult to define a feeling, let alone create a formula to force one. But building connections and trust is imperative in effective cross-cultural communication. So, what can we do?
First is presentation. I've said it before, I'll say it again. You never get a second chance at a good first impression. The first time you meet anyone will impact their perspective of you for the rest of your relationship. Whether that relationship lasts a few seconds at the local market, or it lasts years in a work environment. Now, this can be tricky because you only have one shot. Let's say you present yourself in a suit with your back straight and give a firm handshake, and you may think confidence, but the other person might be thinking cocky. Sometimes it's not about what you wear, but maybe it's what you do or you don't do. You're meeting someone while, texting on your phone. You don't bow first, or you don't bow low enough. You don't make eye contact, or you make too much eye contact. You speak too much or don't speak enough. You sound like a know-it-all, or you sound unsure of yourself. You're too loud, you're too quiet. Your initial presentation of yourself will create a judgment about you that stays with you forever. It's unfortunate, but it's true. So it's important to ask questions before you are about to meet people. How should I dress? How should I present myself? What ways can I show them that I care about them? How can I make them as comfortable as possible? Use your first meeting as an opportunity to build that trust and connections. Here's an example. When we first arrived in Bangkok, Terrence could hardly speak Thai at all. We knew he was not going to be able to create connections with the Thai through words. So he would have to use something that he does know really well, and that Thailand likes a lot, and that's badminton. And you may not have known this, but Terrence is really good at badminton. When he first went on the court, everyone was completely stunned at his skill. They quickly invited him to join their group, and they saw that I was pregnant with my first child, so the female athletes took care of me, and they kept giving me coconut milk and avocados every time I saw them. They eventually helped us find a bigger home to live for very cheap. Connections without language, just by using that first interaction as an opportunity to build trust.
Now, for point number 2, in order for people to trust you, You need to be trustworthy. Shot. This is where understanding the culture's values and beliefs come into play. If the culture really values community, then you need to be able to work in a group and make group decisions. If they don't like a competitive environment, then praising one over others, showing off your accomplishments or experience, or making a best employee of the month may make them step back from you and maybe each other. If they value family, then you need to be involved in their family oriented rules and customs. Your culture may value uniformity, but they may value creativity. In order to become trustworthy, you may need to step out of your comfort zone in order for them to trust you more. Of course, without compromising your faith. Without building trust, you won't be able to create a connection. And without connection, cross cultural communication will be much harder. An example of this is one time there was an American boss at an Asian ministry team. Everyone came in late and the boss pleaded, bribed his team to come in on time. It didn't matter what he did, no one could come in on time. He'd create games, challenges, he would give out rewards, but nothing worked. Every week he'd host a meeting about this issue and the Asian employees would promise to be more timely. But it never happened. While he was eating lunch in his office, the Asians were almost always in the pantry sharing breakfast together in the mornings, taking almost 2 hours for lunch, have an afternoon snack and coffee. It drove the American crazy. He must have thought, these Asians are lazy and inconsiderate. But no, they just didn't value time and work like he did. They just valued relationships more. They were late because they were spending time with their family or spouse before work. While the American was running by deadlines, they were run by community. Because the American cared more about his agenda than his team, there was always a wall between them. After years of working with each other, they never could fully trust each other. What they needed from him was flexibility and empathy.
This leads us to point number 3. Figure out the needs of those around you and fulfill those needs. I have seen so many times where foreign missionaries come into an assignment like they've got all the answers. Thousands of dollars are poured to projects, and the missionaries take photos and they write their reports and they tell their sponsors and partners, and the churches back home, they go, wow. And what often happens is these projects sometimes literally go into the trash, because these projects were not really for the community, but for the missionary or the mission team to check off something like, look, we did ministry. Guys, talk to your community. Get to know them, understand their needs, and then show them that you care about those needs by fulfilling them instead of yours. Why are we stressing this so much? Why are we still talking about this? Well, if you mess up, which you will, when you create trust with someone, they are more likely to forgive your mistake. Instead of blaming you, they may blame the circumstance or the situation. It's important to remember that the way you build trust with a person is not the same way you will have to build trust with another. Even if they come from the same nation, community, or family, cross-cultural communications requires us to be adaptive for every situation. Trust is a feeling. You either have it or you don't have it. Respect, on the other hand, comes with different degrees. There's a basic respect every human is entitled to, and then there's a deeper respect that is earned. Some cultures, you earn respect just by gaining a title, like getting a doctorate or becoming a father or being a police officer, a pastor. Just by being older, you get respect. And you can also earn respect by actions, what you do. You earn respect by treating people well, or having a good family, getting good grades, being kind, being a talented athlete or musician, remembering a birthday. Respect is developed and it can take years to build. And it can also be destroyed in a single moment. There are ways unique to every culture on how to earn or gain or lose respect. And it is our job as cross-culture communicators to figure out these ways. Some ways may feel uncomfortable or may not make sense to you, but without respect, trust will be difficult to obtain.